Okay, so now we are on the ad set level, and to get here, we just clicked on this middle tab here, and well, we already named it, but we're just gonna go ahead and select the name that we want for it here. And if we just come down, you're gonna leave all of this the way it is, and this you're gonna leave as well. This should default to your page unless you own an agency and have a bunch of pages, but to change that, you just click and select one. So come down here, just want to make sure that your Instagram and your Facebook profile is correct. And you're also going to leave this blank. This is some pretty advanced stuff here. Now, I've played around with it here and there, and I talked to some of the top marketers in the world, doing upwards of $10 million a year, and they've kind of had some, this is kind of weird because what it does is it tells Facebook like, hey, I want to get a result within a certain budget. So sometimes basically what happens if you get too greedy and set this too low, then your ads just don't spend. So the way we have it, maximize number of conversions, just tells Facebook like, hey, go spend the money that I'm giving you and just come back with a bucket load of leads. So I just stick with that. All right. And we're going to leave this all the same. I think we spoke about this earlier, but on Facebook, it differs from Google. We're charged by impression rather than the click. So the better the ads actually do, or the better the ads are, the cheaper the impressions are going to be, because Facebook is going to reward you for having content that people are engaging with. So, and then delivery type, we're going to leave that. Daily budget 20. It's fine. And as we get to the end date, we're not going to set an end date, because what we basically found is that if you set an end date, Facebook gives your ads a little bit less priority than your competitors. Only running one ad, then $15 to $30 is going to be pretty solid right in here. I wouldn't really go below 15 for one ad. I mean, you can. It's just going to take forever. If you're trying to book appointments or estimates, definitely takes money to do it and do it quickly, especially if you want multiple estimates a day. I mean, lead costs can range anywhere from $2, all the way up to $80, depending on your industry and what you're targeting, what you're trying to do. But if you want any speed and you actually want priority with Facebook's AI, then you need to spend enough where they're willing to, invest their resources to find the best audience. And also, another thing we shouldn't forget, which is kind of hard to do in a lower budget. So, I mean, don't feel bad if, you're not able to do this, but if you're able to spend more, like $100 plus, and get 50 optimization events within a week, so that could be 50 leads or 50 messages, then Facebook's AI is going to optimize a lot better. But it's kind of hard to get that amount of conversions, like unless you're running, big budgets on ads. Which I didn't start there, so if you can't, start with big budgets. I think I started, my first campaign ever was $15, $20 a day, and we ended up spending, well, over the last 8 years from when I started, it started with a lot of failed campaigns back in the day when I was a personal trainer. But when I started my contracting business, I'd been running ads for long enough. They were spending around $600 a month to make 30K back every month just from Facebook, not even including all the other platforms we had. So we were able to do that pretty fast after starting that business and scale that company and hire my brother and another dude from our church. So once you get your ads dialed in, it can change your life. And $20 a day really changed my life and has allowed me to buy real estate, a farm, and really kind of change my life. But $20 a day is what I started with. So, but yeah, as you start getting money coming in, you're gonna want to crank that up. And honestly, assuming that you have enough manpower to keep on doing calls or going on giving estimates, I would continually push this up. There is some caveats that I'm going to go over when we start going up to higher budgets. So we're not going to worry about that now. Okay, if we just come down now to here, we're not going to do anything with the end date. We're just going to leave that. What myself and most of the other really high performing, like $10 million plus media buyers will never check this, because what we noticed is that it seems like Facebook gives you a little bit less priority on your ads if you are approaching your end date. So let's say you ran an ad for 30 days. I mean, you could turn it off after 30 days, but if you use an end date, then a few days before, it seems like performance kind of drops a little bit. They're like, yeah, this guy's done spending his money in 3 days, so we're not going to impress him. But we'll come down to here. We're going to leave this section the way it is as well. We're really only going to touch this if you have a lot of data. Like, I mean, you're getting hundreds of leads a month, and there's clear patterns in certain days or hours where you're getting the most leads, and you can come in here and mess with it. But in general, Facebook's AI is going to be way better than anything you could ever do in terms of picking the right stuff. So our main goal and main job is just to write a super killer ad with the best targeting that we can choose. But honestly, if we can just point Facebook's AI in the right direction with the targeting that I'm about to show you in a second, then it's going to be able to find the right people for your offer. Because basically what happens, and it was kind of crazy when I learned about this and really got the inside scoop. I have a lot of different, like 20 Facebook reps at this point, or even more, because we spent so much money in ads. But basically what's happening, and I don't even know if I'm, really supposed to, or how much of this, I should reveal, but um, basically what's happening is when we place the ad and publish it, Facebook is going to look at what's inside of the video or what's inside of the photo, and then read the text in the headline and the call to action button. What that's going to do is give Facebook an idea of who it might be for, what it is, and then they're going to make a determination on how they think it's going to do. So they're basically judging your ad before it even gets in front of people. And then once it starts getting in front of people, Facebook has AI, which is able to basically access people's camera and see like how their eyes are moving. And based off that, according to them at least, I mean, well, I'm sure they have it. It's probably more advanced, but according to them, they're able to almost read people's minds, or get fragments of thoughts based on their AI and just the different eye movements that humans would have based on what they're thinking. So they were able to do that by a massive MRI study where they scanned like 20,000 brains while they had people thinking about different things. So they were able to get a very good idea of like how people, their thoughts and how their eyes moved when they were mad, sad, happy, they liked something, they hated it. So all that said, Facebook has really good AI, and if our ads aren't doing good, it probably means our ads suck. Like unless there's some kind of weird event in the market or our offer is off, Facebook's AI is gonna be able to find the right audience. So that's like the biggest thing that I wish I knew earlier in my ad journey, is people get way too worried in the targeting sections and even these sections we're in right here. Of course, you got to choose the right targeting, but Facebook has insane AI, and all we really have to do is write a clear, persuasive ad and get it in front of the right people. Okay, so for this example, we're doing a paver installation, or just paver company. And let's say, just for this example, let's do Orlando. Don't know what happened there. Try that one again. Okay, so as you can see here, all over the place there, but we're going to broaden this to, let's say, 35 miles. It's a pretty good radius for a local business. I wouldn't really recommend going farther unless you really want to be going from side to side of the radius. So if you're doing 50 miles, you could have an estimate out way over here and then all the way down there. So then you're, if you schedule it wrong, you're going to be estimating this guy and then driving 2-3 hours down to this guy. So I would say, 30, 35 miles max on this. I normally, for clients, do about 25. But if we can get this audience as big as possible, what that's going to do is drive the lead cost down. So when I'm creating ads or campaigns in general, I'm paying very close attention to this section here. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can, panel's getting cut off. This section here, I've never really seen this be accurate, so I wouldn't really pay that much attention to what this says here. But the audience size we're looking for here is we want to refine our audience to our ideal customer avatar, but we also don't want to make it too small. Because if we make it too small, basically what happens is, let's just say we had an audience of 50,000 people. We're targeting dads over 50 that like soccer and go to this or watch this specific show, and you really dialed in the targeting to be ultra specific. Well, in theory that would be a good idea, but the problem lies in the fact that not all of those people are going to be on Facebook at the same time, or even necessarily be on Facebook for maybe they aren't on for a week or 10 days. Maybe some people are on every day. But what ends up happening is that you pretty much very quickly burn through the audience that is on Facebook. So in this specific example, the audience size was 50K, and let's say there was 10,000 daily users that are on there every day, and then the rest of the people, maybe they checked once or twice a week. Well, your ad is pretty much going to rip through those daily users and hit them every day. And then, by the fifth time they see your ad, they're going to be like, man, this is boring. I want to go to sleep. So other than that, and I don't want to bore you to death, but understanding the power of Facebook's AI with the audience size is also very important, because their AI has been drastically changed recently, and it's they have like articles about it and stuff, but sometimes their articles can be a little bit hard to understand and actually grasp what they're trying to say. So hopefully I should be able to quickly make this make sense for you. But in Facebook's most recent research study, what they found is that the ideal audience size was around 1 million people. In a local market, that's going to be very hard to get. You can see in Orlando here, we're above it now, but we haven't been able to refine this at all. So while keeping the audience size above 200 to 250K. So right now we're at about a 35-mile radius, and you can, I'm trying to zoom out so it makes it easier, but it's being finicky. Another way you can do this, if you just hit drop pin, you just drop it in the area, and you'll be able to just go in and mess with it there. And one other thing you should know, I don't really use it that much, but if you click right here, you could actually do some exclusions. And I would really only use this if there's certain areas that you don't want to have your ads show up, or maybe just over time there's like a certain section of your city where you never close deals, and you could just drop that there. But I honestly don't really mess with that. Now in Orlando, you do have Disney, so one problem you could run into in big metropolitan areas like Orlando, Los Angeles, New York, Houston, is that when there's a lot of tourism in the area, people that leave the bubble sometimes get targeted too. Because what this is and what it means with Facebook's new targeting options is that this bubble is going to deliver the ads to anyone recently in or living in this location. So we actually used to have targeting options for people only living in a certain location, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, we're now only able to target by recently in or living in. I think it actually has something to do with the recent. There's been a lot of stuff in court and Congress about privacy and targeting with social media. So, but yeah, normally I'm just gonna have one bubble that should serve you, and then if it gets too weird with too many leads outside of the area, you can just start dropping like massive exclusion bubbles in the other areas of the state. Just come in here and you know blow up these bubbles. See, okay, so pretty self-explanatory, and I believe you're smart enough to understand. Okay, so we have our age right here. And what I did for this is, for this ad specifically, we're targeting homeowners, and our avatar being a homeowner, we could say that they're probably usually around the age of 35, especially, with today's market and uh, younger folks still are renting until they're in their mid 30s. But basically, if our avatar, their minimum age is 35, I'm going to have a 5 year gap between what I have here and the minimum avatar age. So, another example would be if our avatar's minimum age was 30, then I would adjust this to 25 by just toggling it here. So, and then if your ideal avatar's minimum age was 40, I would hit 35. So, pretty easy to toggle in there, pretty self-explanatory. Um, and now we get into the fun section. So for this particular ad that we're creating and for this demonstration, we have a pretty good idea of the keywords that work. I pretty much ran ads in every single niche, but in home improvement and paver insulation, we've done well over 10 million at this point. So the keywords that I've found after hundreds of thousands of dollars of testing, actually millions at this point when you include our clients' money that we're spending. The keywords that we found best for most home improvement niches are obviously home improvement. One caveat here, you want to make sure that it says interest on the right. And side note, if we look over here, this just reduced the audience size by about 1 million. So we're going to refine it a little more and do luxury goods because we're hopefully getting homeowners that can afford our products. Most of the products that we do are high ticket, at least $1,000 in most cases, but ideally like 2K plus is our sweet spot to make it. Take your best bet with your hardest efforts. Let's say you're making a video. We might have 2 or 3 videos we make, and put your best effort, like the best human effort that you have. The Bible talks about putting effort in that's like you're serving the Lord. So I understand that not everyone is religious, and that's cool. But it's a really good principle because we need to take our best effort, and then we need to take multiple shots. If you've never, ran ads before, or you're, new and a little bit inexperienced, your first ads are not going to do good. So it's very important to get a few ads up. But yeah, I'll tell you more about that in one of the later videos, and let's finish this page here. So, there's not too much up here. We just want to make sure that we're on the right page, and you can toggle that right over here or down here. Select your page if you have an agency account, and we are going to pull down to here. And right here where it says impressions, we're not going to mess with any of this, but this is important to understand that on Facebook, we are being charged by impression and not by click like on Google. So Facebook has something called cost per 1,000 impression, otherwise known as CPM. CPM does not mean cost per message. You'll see guys on Facebook groups saying, oh, they're getting a $10 CPM, and then they show their lead cost. No, CPM is actually the cost per 1,000 impressions. So that's a key statistic that I'm going to be looking at when I'm running someone's ads. And so it's very important to look at, but all it really tells you is how much does it cost to get in front of 1,000 people. and your ads are going to determine how cheap the lead cost is or the sale cost is based off of how good the ads engaged with potential buyers, got them to click the ad, watch the video, go to the next step. And the better ads that you have, the lower Facebook is going to charge you to get in front of people. So it's kind of like a double compounding momentum kind of thing we have going on, where we're gaining momentum in two different types of ways when the ads are better. Because first of all, our lead cost is going to be cheaper, and then once Facebook realizes that the engagement is really good on our ads comparatively to other ads on the platform, then your cost to actually place your ad is going to reduce significantly. And the quality of the ad is really going to play a big role in your cost per 1,000 impressions. I had ads even we were running for my own company, MindRod Marketing, that we started last, I believe it was November. It was around the time of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, where we started up the ads, and I guess I didn't think about it. Well, I did think about it, but I didn't really, think about the impact. Well, I started some new campaigns the day before or a couple days before Black Friday, or maybe it's that weekend. But basically what happened was that when I started my ads, the cost per 1,000 impressions was like $4K. So I just shut them off, and I don't want to get too advanced here, but if you're ever getting a really high cost per impression, the first thing that I would try, and I got this from another media buyer who's done, he's even done more than me. He's probably done 30, 40 million in Facebook sales at this point. But you just want to duplicate the campaign in that instance, and you'll see that cost per 1,000 impressions come down. But for a local business, what I've really seen on average is anywhere between a $10 to $20 cost per 1,000 impressions. Now, if you were, targeting the top 5% of zip codes, it might go up a bit because you're competing against other marketers. But hopefully that makes sense. It's actually pretty simple, and I'm going to show you in later videos how you can actually monitor your cost per impression and all the stats in your ad. So this is just kind of like a bird's eye overview of what's happening here. And we're going to leave delivery standard, budget 20 for the sake of this. But I mean, honestly, you could. And if we come down here now, we're going to see the placement section. Advantage Plus placements is going to be your default placement. And this is what we're going to go with every single time, unless we have a video that's over 90 seconds. And in that case, we could come down here, hit manual placements, and all we're really going to do is deselect audience network and come down to stories and reels, unselect that. The maximum video length time for stories and reels is 90 seconds, so we need to unselect that. And that's really about it. So we're going to get into the ad section in the next video, where you're going to learn how to actually set up the ad on Facebook, and then we're going to get into how to write an ad that makes money. So I'll see you in just a minute.